Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking. All right, so shout out to everybody who is in the chat. It's good to see each and every one of you all. If you guys can hear me, please give me a thumbs up or radiation emoji in the chat. If you guys cannot hear me, then give me a thumbs down or an angry face, and I'm going to shout out everybody who is in the building early, all right? We got Brooklyn Queen in the house. We got Denise Scale. Shout out to you, Denise. We got Katsy. Good to see you, Katsy. We got Lehman Lucas. We got Patricia Slade, B1. We got John Guillory in the house. We got DC Precise. We got Volvo 2 Love. We got Lehman Lucas. We got Lloyd Sky 9. We got Jesse Paris in the building. We got Jazz Terra. We got Wallow J. We got Black Spider, B1. All right. It's good to see everybody. All right. And shout out to my man, Crew Reality. What's good with it, bro? So we're going to talk about some things that are going on in New York City because ultimately New York City is on the last legs. They're on the last legs. First order of business, Mayor Adams himself is an undocumented bro. How many people knew that Mayor Eric Adams was an undocumented bro? If you guys knew, give me a thumbs up. If you guys did not know, give me a thumbs down. That's right. Even the mayor don't have his documentation in order. Mayor Eric Adams violates the city rules again by failing to register his Brooklyn rental property with New York City Housing Authority. Now look at him. He looking stressed out over there. He got them Ohio glass blocks inside the house. I don't know who that is in the background back there. Look like he kind of at a trap house lightweight. You know what I'm saying? The radiator right there, old school with the curtains on it, waiting to burn the house down. That's bad business right there. That's bad business. Eric Adams looked like he was somewhere looking to cop something and didn't go back to the office, and they caught him down there. Oh, man. Mayor Eric Adams fending off questions about where he's been sleeping during his campaign. Somebody sleeping in his bed, messing with his head. He invited reporters on Wednesday, June 9th, to tour his ground floor home in Bed-Stuy neighborhood of Brooklyn. So this is clearly this is his Bed-Stuy home right here. This the trap. This is definitely a trap, man. I'm telling you, they don't make the radiators like that no more with the curtains draped down on them to burn the house up. That's old school, man. That's old school, and I'm pretty sure that's against some type of fire code. But anyway, Mayor Eric Adams faces potential fines for failing to register his Brooklyn rental property with the city's housing agency last year. The latest string of violations at the building, according to public records. Under city law, landlords must file registration statements with the Department of Housing, Preservation, and Development once a year, spelling out details about the property where they charge rent from their tenants. The requirement is meant to make it easier for the agency, known as HPD, to keep tabs on rental properties and ensure that they're in good condition and in compliance with all applicable laws. Yet, Adams was hit this past November 21st with a violation for failing to submit a registration form for his row house on Lafayette Avenue in Bed-Stuy, which contains multiple units he's renting out to tenants, HPD records show. And from what I understand, he's using that rental property place as his Brooklyn address. But from what I've heard, right, I don't know if this is true, I heard he living in Jersey. Yeah, see, shout out to Patricia Slade. Patricia Slade says Adams lives in a condo in Fort Lee, New Jersey. Yeah, that's what they say. They say he lives out in Jersey, but he fronting like he's a New Yorker, son. You know what I'm saying? He's the mayor out in Jersey, but he stayed back in Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, the mayor is over. The mayor is over. Bit bye bye. The mayor is over. The mayor is over. Yay. Hey, hey. So when you walk up in City Hall, what do they say? You see all the migrants, it's a bad day. Spending all that money on the migrants, it ain't the way. New York is over. New York is over. Hey, hey, New York is over. New York is over. Bit bye bye. Tell them bye bye. Oh man, that's crazy work, man. Shout out to We Lit. So now here it says the violation, which remains open, states that Adams' previous registration on the property expired September 1st, meaning the building has, as of this week, sat unregistered for more than 4 months. Adams is therefore subject to civil penalties, prohibited from certifying violations, and denied the right to recover possessions of premises for non-payment of rent until a valid registration statement is filed, the violation says. So if I was one of those residents at that place, man, listen. You know what I'm saying? If I was, I wonder if Eric Adams is on this list of worst NYC landlords. That'd be interesting if he was. But if I was the residents in his apartment complex, man, I wouldn't be paying no rent right now. And I would just have all my stuff stored there. I'd be straight squatting, you know what I'm saying? And not with a rack. So now here it says landlords who fail to register their buildings on time can face fines of between $250 to $500 per violation per city law. A City Hall spokesman didn't immediately return a request for comment from the Daily News on Tuesday on whether a fine had been imposed on Adams. Now, let me ask you guys, do you all think that a fine has been imposed on your boy Eric Adams? If you guys think so, then give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't think so, then give me a thumbs down. HPD, which is charged with maintaining the city's affordable housing stock, did not immediately return a request for comment either. November's registration snafu isn't the first time Adams has faced registration issues at his Bed-Stuy digs. So do you guys think that this is one of the reasons why Eric Adams has a spot in his heart for the undocumented bros, because he likes to do business undocumented? I don't need all this paper trail, son. I don't need all this stuff following me around. You understand? As first reported by the news, the Lafayette Avenue building went without Housing Preservation and Development's registration status for 12 years, from December 2009 until 2021. Even though Adams' campaign spokesperson, Evan Thies, said in 2021 that he would, quote unquote, update the registration immediately, the mayor failed again. Damn, I missed it again, son. In 2022, to register the building before its permit expired, resulting in another violation. Since becoming mayor, Adams has also been slapped with nearly a half dozen summons for an alleged rat infestation at the Bed-Stuy building. Man, he has gotten multiple of those summons dismissed after appealing before administrative judges to make the case that he's doing everything he can to eradicate the four-legged pest at his property. Hey, listen here, Your Honor. This is New York City. We got some of the largest rats in the world. There's nothing I can do about it. You might have one here, you might have one there, but for the most part, the apartment is livable. You understand? Oh man, Eric Adams, you're going out bad, son. According to his latest tax return, Adams collected $19,850 in rental income from the Bed-Stuy building in 2022. Man, you only collected $19,850 from a rental building in Brooklyn? That's some man. What? How much is he charging? I told you this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. You got. Look at this. I want y'all to understand this, right? You got Ohio glass blocks right there. First and foremost, if you got Ohio glass blocks, it is already kind of shady. If there's Ohio glass blocks on the scene, that means that it's kind of unsafe wherever you at. Then you got the radiator right by the front door. You got this pipe going through here, and you got the curtains draped on top of the radiator. That's old school fire hazard shit right there. You know what I'm saying? Am I lying though? That's some old school fire hazard shit. That is a bad scene. If I walked up in that house, I'd be like, oh, you know what I'm saying? You go sit down on the couch and you can smell the curtains on the other side of the room. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna drop this off. I'm gonna bounce. How many people is familiar with Ohio glass blocks? If y'all familiar with Ohio, if y'all are familiar with Ohio glass blocks, give me a thumbs up. If y'all not, give me a thumbs down. I'm trying to tell y'all, man, if there's Ohio glass blocks on the first floor or like right by where you walk into a place, don't go in there. Immediately understand that there's shade going on and leave. Do not go into a building that has Ohio glass blocks. The only appropriate place for Ohio glass blocks are like those windows, those little parts between the basement and the first floor of a house. You know what I'm saying? If you've got Ohio glass blocks where like an actual window is supposed to be, yeah, bruh, nah, uh-uh, mm-mm, not the place you want to be hanging out. You know what I'm saying? Carlton, you waiting for JJ to come around that corner in the apartment? Hey, Eric, guess what I got in my hand? Some dynamite. You know what I'm saying? Eric would be like, hold on, JJ. Let me make sure that I paid my insurance last month before you go crazy with that stick of dynamite, young man. You know what I'm saying? Oh man. So it says it's markedly less than the $24,600 that he ranked in 2021. A drop, Adams spokesman Charles Lutvak earlier this year attributed to the fact that one of the mayor's tenants only paid rent intermittently in 2022. One of the tenants caused that significant decrease in the rent. Is definitely some slumlord activity going on there. Lutvak would not elaborate on why the tenant wasn't paying rent regularly. Man, listen, he was in that apartment cutting it. That's why. The Lafayette apartment property first landed in the headlines in 2021 after news reports raised questions about whether Adams truly lived there during the mayoral race that he went on to win. So again, he was just using this property as his address to be able to get access to being the mayor. Yeah, son, how am I going to get this election here? I got it. I'm going to do just like what we used to do back in the day. My mom's, you know what I'm saying, she used to give the Queen's address of my grandmother so that I could go to school over there when we was actually living over in Rockaway. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm gonna do to become the mayor, now that I live in Jersey, over here in Hoboken, I'm gonna give this address for this slum that I'm charging people for. Nobody will ever know the difference. I'll get some of this Turkish money. I'll get some of this migrant money. I'll put it towards my campaign and all will be well. Gotcha. You know what I'm saying? Now look at this. Beyond the registration issues, the record shows that one of Adams' tenants on Lafayette filed a complaint with the Department of Housing Preservation and Development this past October 9th, complaining that there was no heat in their unit. No heat. Your whole unit is a fire hazard and you ain't got no heat. You got this big ass radiator right in front of the window and you ain't got no heat. And I know that there's heat coming off of this pipe. Man, that's crazy, man. The department closed the complaint without issuing any fines, though, because an inspector was not able to gain access to your apartment or others in the building to inspect a lack of heat or hot water. And entry in the agency's database says so they wasn't even able to get inside because of them Ohio glass blocks. Because of them Ohio glass blocks. You know what I'm saying? If the condition still exists, please file a new complaint. The entry adds. So they did some bogus shit right there. Let me tell you, I don't ever go in no place that looks like this. I bet you this is the only light in the entire front of the house. And I'm still trying to figure out who this is in the background back here. Do Eric Adams even know that they right there? He probably in this picture telling somebody, nah, son, there's nobody here. I don't have no tenants over here. And she snuck downstairs. She like, Big Daddy, I got your food ready for you. Hey, go back upstairs. I'm showing the place here. I told you I'll call you downstairs when I'm ready for you. Oh, Mr. Adams, who is that? Nobody. It's my secretary. I brought her here from the office. Oh man, Eric Adams always got some mess going on, man. Eric Adams crazy, man. He need to just stop being the mayor and be a comedian, man. That's a funny dude that has no idea how funny he is. You know what I'm saying? So speaking of which, your boy Mayor Eric Adams said, listen here, you know, it's getting kind of rowdy all over the place. The people in New York City are getting upset. These migrants are all over the place doing all kinds of things that they're not supposed to be doing. Now, when the street lights come on, you all need to have your asses inside of that shelter. You need to have your ass inside of that shelter skelter when the lights go off, when the street lights come on. You understand? So your boy Mayor Eric Adams decided to enact a curfew for the migrants. Oh, underlay, I gotta get back and Vamanos back to the crib. So that's what we're going to be working with. New York City considers curfew for migrants in shelter. Y'all got to have y'all asses back when the street lights come home, like Warren G said. Let's take a look at this.
Could curfews be coming to migrant shelters in the city?
The mayor's office says it's something they're considering. Fox 5 Jessica Formosa live outside of the Row Hotel in Midtown where some migrants are staying. Jess.
Steve, Natasha, almost 70,000 migrants are in the city's care at this moment. And like you said, some are staying here at the Row Hotel, others at Herc sites across the city like Floyd Bennett Field. But now the city is considering a curfew that is already in place for traditional homeless services shelters across the city. Now, this idea of implementing a curfew at migrant shelters was brought up at a closed-door meeting.
Now, let me ask you guys this question. Why do you all think that they're working on enacting these curfews at these migrant shelters? And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to everybody that's watching. I appreciate each and every one of you all. If you all have not smashed the like button yet, we got 32 people watching and we got 26 likes. If everybody could smash that like button and get us to 40 likes, that would be great. Also, if you haven't shared the stream, please take a moment, share the stream. And also, if you have not subscribed, hit that bell icon twice.
Day with city officials who were discussing the migrant crisis. It was Queens Councilwoman Joanne Ariola who asked why the migrants aren't subject to a curfew. All DHS shelters have a curfew of 9 p.m. for families with children and 10 p.m. for adults. She tells Fox 5 the reason she wants to see the curfew instituted is because a few weeks ago, she says migrants from Floyd Bennett Field were coming into her district and begging residents for money and food at
now we're going to talk about this begging because there was a lot of panhandling going on that was getting on people's nerves. A shout out to Black Freethinker and Nope Rope. Black Freethinker says crime, and Nope Rope says it is a nice way of saying they are trying to control the criminal element. I agree. If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. AB says, AB says so they can stop buying Benzes. Right. They up there in New York sounding like outcasts. We either want the Benz or the Beamer. They going on a New Jersey drive of their own without Spike Lee.
All hours of the night. She says this is about safety. In the meeting, she was told they will look into it. Now, we did reach out to the mayor's office, and we were told that they are considering all options.
My constituents are terrified. They have people that they don't know at their doorbell. They usually have a child with them. They have their telephone, their iPhone, and on it, it says in English, I'm a migrant from Floyd Bennett Field. Please give me money.
Man, that's crazy. Do y'all hear this? Man, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. How many of y'all knew that was going on? If y'all knew that was going on, give me a thumbs up. If y'all did not know that was going on, give me a thumbs down. Man, that's wild. I'm a migrant from Floyd Bennett Field. Please give me money. Are we serious? Man, listen, man, it's going ham in New York City, man. It's going ham in New York City. I'm telling y'all, man. If I'm eventually, if the channels do well enough, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to get you guys some live footage of all of this and chop it up and post it. You know what I'm saying? But we got to catch some original live action. We got to catch some original live action footage of some of this insanity. Right. If you guys agree with Miss Nisi, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. The unmitigated gall, illegal immigrants panhandling and begging. WTF. Yeah, that's what's going on. And apparently it's getting on people's nerves.
They will look into it. Now, we did reach out to the mayor's office, and we were told that they are considering all options.
My constituents are terrified. They have people that they don't know at their doorbell. They usually have a child with them. They have their telephone, their iPhone, and on it says in English, "I'm a migrant from Floyd Bennett Field. Please give me money." And it's very, very concerning because at times they find them on their property.
It's not an inconvenience for us because, as you can see, we're coming back to the hotel now and it's before 9 p.m. However, I could see it being an inconvenience for those who work overnight. If they're coming back from work at 3, 4 in the morning, how would that work? Would they be allowed back in? Now, Mr. Garcia's wife there told us that this could also be a way from stopping migrants from being out all night doing nothing. She says as long as they can prove that they're working and are able to come back to the shelter, she does not see a problem. Now, Councilwoman Ariola says that already there are reasonable accommodations for those who are in the traditional homeless shelters across the city, that if they work at night, they're able to come back without an issue. So she says they do not foresee any issues if they implemented here at the migrant shelters. That's the latest we have from Midtown tonight. I'm Jessica Formoso, Fox 5 News.
All right, so there's that. All right. So to back up what they're saying there, we got this article here from the New York Post. And I don't know if people are aware of this, but if there's anybody that smokes joints, you can get some, you know what I'm saying, over on Randall's Island out there. Okay. Migrants are selling joints and food while ignoring calls to leave Randall's Island as Adams promises security review. So they selling joints. I don't know where they getting the weed from. Some people just, they've got the natural access to the plug. So here's a little video clip here. They got tarps all out there. Hey, man, could you imagine seeing that, like just driving up the street and seeing this site right here, this scenery right here? Like, man, that's wild. Oh, man, I couldn't imagine. So now here it says migrants camping outside the increasingly lawless Randall's Island tent city. Look at this. They were spotted selling everything from burgers to blunts on Monday. As Mayor Eric Adams said, the city would be reviewing the shelter security following a fatal weekend stabbing. How many people heard about this fatal weekend stabbing? If you guys heard about that, give me a thumbs up. If y'all didn't, give me a thumbs down. That's how they buying those Benzes. That's how they buying those Benzes, AB. They selling blunts and burgers. B&B. They got a B&B food truck, a blunt and burger food truck. The group of asylum seekers who set up camp outside the island's 2,000-bed site after being booted for timing out on the city residency limit appeared locked in a cat and mouse game with Parks Department officials who tore down the encampment on Sunday only to have it rise up again. They said, "We shall rise up again." And then they did. The problem is that you keep coming back, man. Damn, that's crazy as hell. That's like you spray raid on them. You know what I'm saying? Then they just stop moving for a little bit. You walk away, you come back, and then the legs start moving. How many people ever seen that? You spray a bug with some raid, and you think that they dead, and then you come back later and the legs start moving, and then next thing you know, the other legs start moving. And then you come back again and they gone. How many people ever seen a bug resist raid like that? That's what they doing. That's what they doing down there. They resisting it. This frustrated parks worker said, "God damn it, the problem is that you keep coming back." A frustrated park worker told the group of more than a dozen migrants in Spanish on Monday morning, "You're not putting a foot forward to get out of this situation. You keep coming back in the same place where you're not helping yourself," he said. "Yes, you work for your family to send money to your family, but you come back here doing things you're not supposed to be doing. This is a public park." They up there selling blunts and burgers and not going to get in trouble for it because it's a sanctuary city. But the plea fell on deaf ears. And not long after, the rogue group set up folding tables. Now, I want y'all to understand this. If you have a business and you drive a bus into New York City, and that bus does not have prior arrangements made between Governor Abbott and the Adams administration, your bus can get impounded and you can get fined a felony. But these people can unrestrictedly sell blunts at a public park, and nobody's going to say or do anything about it. That's the situation that we have. And people wonder why this stuff is happening. Some of the most simple stuff ever. You know what I'm saying? But the plea fell on deaf ears, and not long after, the rogue group set up folding tables against police barrier gates and used small propane burners to cook burgers, which they began selling to fellow migrants along with coffee, hot chocolate, loose cigarette, and rolled marijuana joints. They were selling Lucy's. They were selling Lucy cigarettes and Lucy joints. Now, you can really get in a lot of trouble for selling Lucy's. You know what I'm saying? You messing with the ATF selling Lucy's. But they selling the Lucy's anyway. You know what I'm saying? And real quick, shout out to everybody that's watching, man. I appreciate each and every one of you all. If you all have not smashed that like button yet, take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys have not hit that bell and subscribe to the channel, please take a moment, hit that bell and subscribe to the channel. Also, please make sure that you're subscribed to the new Undocumented Twitter account. All right. The bots will put the link for that in the chat. And also, if you're not a part of the Discord, take a moment to hit that link that's pinned in the comment section. Okay. So now here it says the open air peddling was the latest example of out of control conditions at Tin City, where a 24-year-old man was chased by a group inside a dining area and knifed to death on Saturday. Adams said the city would be setting up metal detectors and security cameras at the sprawling site and others. You might want to do a little bit more than that. You might want to do a little bit more than that. You think? I think it's very unfortunate. There was a situation that occurred a couple nights ago. One of the migrants got stabbed to death. He got $150 over there on the island. And, you know, that's not the New York that we want these people to see. So we're going to be installing some security cameras. All right, Eric. Okay. This is what he said. We're doing a complete analysis of the security, beefing up our training, putting in place a few mobilization concepts, breaking down our location in a color-coded scheme, he said at the press briefing on Monday. In addition to the metal detectors, in the police department and our team, we're going to utilize visual technology. We're going to utilize some of those robot tigers that we spent billions of dollars on last year. You guys remember those tigers, those robot artificial intelligence tigers that we had prowling around, patrolling the projects? We're going to bring them over here to the encampment to try to prevent some of these crimes. Man, those migrants out there are lamping like big willies. They out there lamping like Willie Largo. You know what I'm saying? Oh, man. The city is already spending as much as $25,000 a day on security at shelters that are housing more than 68,000 migrants in its care, officials said. Look at this. The accused Randall's Island killer, his name is Moses Coronado, who is 27, was arraigned on murder and gang assault charges in Manhattan criminal court on Sunday night and ordered held without bail until his next hearing on Friday. Man, they getting some rowdy migrants. They're getting some extremely rowdy migrants. You know, like Roddy Piper, the wrestler. They got some rowdy migrants. You know what I'm saying? Coronado and at least two others allegedly chased victim Defren Canizales inside the cafeteria tent at around 7:30 p.m. Saturday, they cornered him against the door and stabbed him in the chest, according to criminal complaints against him. The two got into a beef after Coronado said something to Canizales' girlfriend, according to prosecutors and sources. Canizales tried to flee his knife-wielding attackers, who continued to chase him until he collapsed. And then, of course, they show a black dude. You know what I'm saying? because that just makes sense. Shout out to my man KO Kid Fit. What's good with it, bro? We talking about them geefs. This is how they buying them geefs. They up there selling blunts and burgers. It's horrific to have someone come here and pursue the American dream and lose their life, Adam said on Monday. The stabbing came hours after a rumble at a migrant intake center in East Village, which led to 2 arrests and a pair of cops getting injured when a man tried to cut in the line of 400 asylum seekers. How many people heard about this rumble at this migrant intake center in East Village? This is insane. Why are you up here fighting like you ain't got no damn sense? This police officer got lit up. Oh, man. Man, this police officer got split. Oh, my God. Migrants living at the Randall Island site told the Post that stealing is rampant at the facility, with residents breaking up into camps. Look at this, based on ethnicity, race, and their countries of origin. So this shit them turned into jail. This should tell you right here, it's time to slow some of this down. This is effectively turned into prison. Migrants living at the Randall Island site told the Post that stealing is rampant at the facility, with residents breaking up into camps based on ethnicity, race, and their countries of origin. Okay. Now let me ask you guys something. Does that sound like the tent system, or does that sound like the prison system? Hey, beef, what you talking about? The beef for the burgers or the beef causing them to stab each other? which beef you talking about? Which beef you talking about, AB? You talking about the beef to make the burgers, or you talking about the beef that got them up here stabbing each other? I don't know where either came from. You know what I'm saying? So check this out. Here's the melee. Right? This is the melee Somebody cutting in line outside the East Village Migrant Center. All right, shout out to DSB. What's good with it, bro? So let's see what went on over here. Could you imagine what if all this broke out and then all of a sudden some of them folks start coming up out of the sewer over here? Man, that would be a crazy thing to witness. They coming up out of the sewer in black tuxedos and those weird sideburns that they have, just in the middle of a migrant mob fight. Man, listen, shout out to the people from New York, man. Get out of there while y'all can. You know what I'm saying? These people, you know what I'm saying? They man, listen. Shout out to my man True Life, man. You know what I'm saying? My man True Life. My man True Life said this back in like 2017. This is the new New York. True Life said, "It's the new New York." It's the new New York. Yay, 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 yay. Man, it's already crazy in New York. I don't think y'all understand it, man. Shout out to my man AB Promotions and Brooklyn Queen. You know what I'm saying? They can tell you that I'm not lying. It is already crazy in New York City. That on top of all this, man. Man, Prodigy, man. Prodigy said it. There's a war going on outside, no man is safe from. You can run, but you can't hide forever from these shelters that they took. They walking with no documents. People scared to look. Oh, man. Man, we live in this to the day that we die. Undocumented bros, only the strong survive. We live in this to the day that we die. Undocumented bros, only the strong survive. Oh, man. Oh, man. That is bad. At least 2 cops were injured. Now, I want to show y'all this cop, man. He got bloodied up. Look at this. Look at this. Look at his face. Look at his face. Look at all that blood on his face. He got blood on his hairline, and he got blood on his cheek, and he got blood on the tip of his nose. This is a People of Color police coalition. If these police officers didn't have these police uniforms on, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between the police and the undocumented bros. You wouldn't be able to tell the difference. At least 2 cops were injured and 2 men were arrested when a fight broke out after someone cut the line among a crowd of over 400 asylum seekers outside an East Village Migrant Center on Saturday morning. Sources and eyewitnesses told the Post. Now, if I'm not mistaken, is East Village in Manhattan? East Village is in Manhattan, right? So you already know this was lit. This altercation was lit. The wild melee began around 8:30 a.m. outside the re-intake center on East 7th Street near the Tompkins Square Park when one man holding a cup of Java tried to sneak into the winding line, apparently spilling it on others in the process. That's not the way. According to eyewitnesses and city officials at the scene, a squabble quickly turned physical, with one man punching the line cutter and tumbling to the ground as others joined into the fray, the witnesses said. Now, this man punched the line cutter and then his ass fell on the ground. I would have really liked to see that. You know what I'm saying? If there's anybody that's got video footage of that, please, you know what I'm saying? Utilize that new Twitter account that we got. Oh, man. Yeah, I thought East Village was in Manhattan. The cops urged the crowd to stand back, in some cases shoving migrants away to restore order, according to video shared with a reporter. People were punching each other and fighting. A lot of people, said Samantha Hernandez, a 27-year-old migrant from Mexico who watched the chaos. So again, they're showing all these black people. I think they were desperate about the situation. It's very bad. There's too many people, and there's not a lot of opportunities for us here. And the city treats us like animals. Now, that's interesting. Let me ask you guys this question. If the city is treating these migrants like animals, then what do you guys think that they're treating the residents like? If it's considered how the migrants are being treated, if the migrants are being treated in a quote-unquote animalistic way, my question for you guys is, how would you consider how the residents of New York are being treated? And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to everybody that's watching. We got 43 people watching and we got 39 likes. If everybody could take a moment, smash that like button and get us to 50, that would be great. Both cops suffered minor injuries to their knees and faces while breaking up the brawl, officials said. They were treated at the local hospital, according to the New York Police Department. It was not immediately clear if any migrants suffered injuries. The battling migrants were among the hundreds who flooded the site Saturday morning, desperately trying to gain entry as the city continues to struggle finding shelter for thousands of asylum seekers still arriving weekly. All right, so look, this is them getting arrested. They formed a line that stretched around the block at the former St. Bridget School, waiting to get inside to reapply for temporary housing after being booted under Mayor Eric Adams' 30-day cap on shelter stays. Now, why is this important, right? It's important for one, because it's hilarious, and it's always good to start your morning off with a laugh, right? That's number one. Number two, why is it funny? It's funny because what issue causes this? Overcrowding. Now, here's my question about the overcrowding, right? They want to sell you on the idea that this problem will be contained with more work permits. My question is, how would work permits have prevented this altercation? This is an altercation that's a result of open borders, Biden policy, Adams administration policy, rowdy people, and overcrowding. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree with that, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree with that, give me a thumbs down. So now here it says some migrants have told the Post that they've been waiting for multiple days for a shot at another month-long stay in the city with little luck. The New York Police Department said migrants involved in the fight were in custody, but had yet to be charged with any crimes. Now, let me ask you guys this question, and you guys already know the answer. Are they going to be charged with a crime? More than likely, they're not going to be charged with a crime as a result of the sanctuary city status. As a result of the sanctuary city status, there will probably be no charges. Okay? So we're going to look at these rules that Mayor Eric Adams is putting into place, or wants to put into place. All right. Adams administration definitely considering curfews at New York City migrant shelters amid panhandling complaints. Now, it's not, who cares that somebody got stabbed up and that some police officers got beat up? It's the panhandling that's the issue. The Adams administration is definitely considering initiating curfews at all migrant shelters in the city amid complaints about residents at some of them venturing into nearby neighborhoods at night to beg for money, the Daily News has learned. That begging for money is going to turn into nighttime robberies any minute now. Would you guys agree? At any moment, at any moment. This nighttime panhandling is going to turn into nighttime robberies. If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. Y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. Molly Schaefer, director of Mayor Eric Adams' Office of Asylum Seeker Operations, revealed the curfew considerations during a closed-door migrant crisis briefing with local lawmakers on Thursday. She did so after Queens Councilwoman Joanne Ariola, a Republican, asked why her so-called HERC shelters, which only house migrants, aren't subject to curfews when traditional Department of Homeless Services shelters typically are. We're definitely looking into a curfew across the system. We'll get back to folks on that, Schaefer said of the HERC system during the private meeting held over Zoom. In reference to the fact that many migrants in the city work nighttime jobs, such as food delivery, Schaefer continued, we obviously want to make sure that people have the ability to work and that it's worth giving as many people opportunity to work as possible, but we're looking into it across the system. Now, here goes my question. Why isn't the main motivation for this to keep citizens of New York safe? The main purpose of whatever they're doing should, in theory, if you ask me, be to keep the citizens of New York safe. That should be the focal point. You know what I'm saying? But that's not the focal point. Ariola told Schaefer a curfew is a good idea because we're beginning to see more and more migrants entering adjacent communities and begging at front doors and such at all hours of the night. Now, do you guys remember when we said that these problems would eventually spill out of the city and into the interior, the same way that we said they would move away from the border and away from the liberal cities and eventually spread throughout the United States? Ladies and gentlemen, we are now into that phase. We're now into that phase where we're actually watching that occur in real time. Okay? So a curfew would be helpful for the adjacent neighboring homeowners, Ariola added. After the briefing, Ariola, whose Howard Beach-based district isn't home to any HERCs, said in a text message that migrants living at the sprawling emergency shelter at Floyd Bennett Field have started going to the Rockaways to ask local residents for food, money, and clothes. Now, here goes my question. What does that tell you about the migrants if they know that they're not supposed to be doing that and they go ahead and do it anyway? They know that they're not supposed to do this. They know that they're not supposed to do this, and then they go ahead and do it anyway. The news outlet The City recently reported a similar trend is playing out in southern Brooklyn's Marine Park, a reliably Republican neighborhood where some anti-migrant sentiment has taken root, resulting in hostilities. At the same time, though, it's not about anti-migrant hostilities. Some people don't want to be bothered and having people knocking at their door at all times of night. Let me ask y'all this question. What if a migrant knocked at your door at 3 o'clock in the morning and asked you for some gifts? Shout out to my man Grind and Motivate. If they do you have any gifts? Do you come here bearing any gifts? And you know they're gonna be rude. They're not gonna be nice when they ask for it. Give me these gifts. You have plenty. I need some for myself. Like, seriously? Like, bro, who you talking to? You know what I'm saying? The news outlet The City reported a similar trend is playing out in southern Brooklyn's Marine Park, a reliably Republican neighborhood where some anti-migrant sentiment has taken root, resulting in hostilities. Adams' spokeswoman, Kayla Mamalik, confirmed a HERC curfew is under consideration, but would not provide any specifics about it, such as what the cutoff time for access would be or whether there'd be exemptions to it. When we have more to share, we will, she said. Residents of the Department of Homeless Services shelters generally have 11 p.m. curfews. These HERC sites should have the exact same curfews as the ones currently in place at our DHS shelters, unless a reasonable accommodation is granted, Areola said. New York Immigration Coalition Executive Director Murad Awadeh, whose group has helped welcome migrants to the city since 2022, said that the Adams administration is focusing on the wrong issue and pushing for HERC curfews in response to complaints about migrant begging. Now, here's my question. Is the New York Immigration Coalition doing anything about the stabbing? That's my question. They sitting up there talking about Eric Adams is focusing on the wrong issue. Here's my question. Is anyone focusing on the crime? Is anyone focusing on all these people getting stabbed up out here? Is anyone focusing on the fact that these people out here selling blunts and burgers? You know what I'm saying? Is any of that going on? So now here it says we should be looking into why they are not getting the help that they need at the centers, considering that the city has been saying they've been all along providing migrants with all the help that they need. Awadeh said, the knee-jerk reaction should not be more punitive measures or try to put people in a jam if they are a few minutes late. It puts more burden on people as they're trying to build up their lives. I don't know if you can consider this building up lives. Yeah, see, and shout out to AB Promotions. AB says, Rob, they're going to the Rockaways because it's a rap in Brooklyn. Y'all don't understand. Floyd Bennett is basically in the middle of nowhere between Brooklyn and Far Rockaway, Queens. Yeah, it's in the middle of nowhere. It's how it's called, the Floyd Bennett Field. It's actually literally like in a big-ass field by the river. And on top of it, they said it's a flood zone. You know what I'm saying? And which is why they had to evacuate the high school. I think it was Madison High School. Well, they didn't have to evacuate the high school, but they chose to evacuate Madison High School and put the migrants in there when Floyd Bennett Field flooded a couple days ago. All right. So now here it says more migrants continue to arrive every day, with 3,400 entering into the city shelters just last week, Schaefer said in the briefing. However, she said 2,800 migrants also left city shelters last week. So where are they at now? See, like that matters. It matters where they are right now. Like, just because they left the shelter, they could have left the shelter and still just be posted up right outside. A lot of this situation, the way that they're reporting this like people are dumb. You know what I'm saying? The high exit rate is in part due to controversial policies enacted by the Adams administration that limit consecutive shelter stays to 30 days for a single adult and 60 days for migrant families with children. Migrants must reapply for shelter if they still need it when their stays are up. Now, I want you guys to understand this is more of a generous deal than people who are getting evicted from their apartments get. You know what I'm saying? City Councilwoman Gail Brewer, a Democrat who represents the Upper West Side, told Schaefer and the other administration officials on the briefing that she remains sharply opposed to putting migrant families on 60-day clocks, arguing that the policy can be highly disruptive for kids. I think it's terrible, Brewer told them. If you think that migrants on a 60-day policy is highly disruptive for kids, what do you think that it is to just remove kids from their high school to put migrants in there? If you think that that's disruptive for kids, what do you think what just recently happened at Madison High School is? You know what I mean? Somebody make that make sense. So now here's my question for you guys. How many people have heard about the migrant resettlement program in New York? If you guys have heard about that, then give me a thumbs up. If you guys have not heard about that, then give me a thumbs down. State makes some progress with migrant resettlement program. Now, what are they doing? Moving migrants upstate. After a slow start, about 100 families have been moved into housing upstate. Now, do you all think that the people upstate are thrilled about this? Because again, what we're back to is we're back to the situation where we're playing musical migrants. When we're playing musical migrants because we're out of room. You know what I'm saying? Remember how we keep saying this particular situation, this is unsustainable. This is unsustainable. This is unsustainable. What we're looking at right now is insustainability spillover. That's what we're looking at. Okay? We're looking at insustainability spillover. That's the reason why these people are winding up back in upstate New York. Okay? So now here it says around 100 migrant families have moved into apartments upstate under a state program rolled out last year in an attempt to alleviate pressure on New York City. Now, my question is, how much money do you all think that they're paying to stay at these new places that they've gotten? Now, I'm gonna make this bigger so you guys can see it and read along. Let's see. You guys able to see that? If you guys can see that clearly, give me a thumbs up. If you guys can't, give me a thumbs down. According to the State Office of Temporary and Disability Assistance, the agency overseeing the Migrant Relocation Assistance Program, an additional 31 families have signed leases as of January 10th. Of the 443 families who've enrolled in the program, 299 are currently working with contracted service providers to connect them with housing in the community they've chosen to relocate, according to an office spokesperson. The participating counties are Westchester, Suffolk, Erie, Monroe, and Albany. Okay. The latest numbers mark significant progress from late summer when New York Focus reported that 0 families had been relocated at the end of August. Still, the number of leases make up roughly 10% of the 1,250 families the program was initially funded for. New York City leaders have expressed frustrations over what they've described as slow progress to match the families the city has recommended with housing. Now, do you guys recall when when we showed those videos? Oh, that's that we gonna talk. We save that video, KO Kid Fit, and we gonna talk about that on Undocumented. Wait till y'all see the content that we got planned for Undocumented. Y'all gonna love that channel, man. Y'all gonna love that channel. Now, here's my question. How many of our ancestors received aid like this post Jim Crow, post slavery? He been bumming it for free for 7 months of government gifts. Bro, we got to step up our game. We definitely got to step up our game. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to everybody that's watching. I appreciate each and every one of y'all that's in here. If you haven't hit that like button, please take a moment. Make sure you guys hit that like button. We're on our way to 500 subs. Smash that like button. Hit the bell and subscribe to the channel. Also, make sure that you hit up the Twitter account. So now here says, when asked about the holdup, a spokesperson for the governor's office emphasized that the program is voluntary and said finding the right size and type of placement for each family is important, and that takes time. New York City officials have acknowledged obstacles that the state is facing, like limited housing options, but suggested that the state doesn't have the same degree of urgency as the city. Okay. It's not about having families that have their work authorization or have done their paperwork on the way. It's really about how many units they have available. So again, we're talking about capacity. You guys remember when we said this is also an issue of capacity, and the issue of capacity is not really being focused on. Now they're going to have to focus on it, because as all of the resources, as all of the space, as all of the money, as all of this stuff begins to run out, now they're going to have to look in all different locations and all different places in order to try to figure out how to put some type of temporary fixes on this stuff. And they're not going to be able to. New York City Deputy Mayor for Health and Human Services, Ann William Isam, said in October, I might be like, let's put an air mattress in there and let's get this done. Somehow people don't have the same sense of urgency I think we do. All right, so let's pay attention to this part right here. This is the amount of money. The program was funded by a $25 million allocation in the state budget, and it was announced over the summer to move migrant families out of the New York City shelter system to counties upstate by offering them, are you guys ready for this? Rental assistance for up to a year and a bevy of additional support, including case management and social services like employment counseling and transportation to help them assimilate into their new community. Rental assistance for up to a year. Now, mind you, this is rental assistance in New York. Now, some of these upstate New York communities are probably less expensive than they are in New York City, but they're also giving people rental assistance in New York City. Okay. A network of nonprofits is working with the state to help find homes for asylum-seeking families who must sign a consent form that acknowledges they understand potential effects of relocation on their immigration case. New York has scrambled to accommodate tens of thousands of migrants who've arrived in the city since spring of 2020. Roughly 68,000 new arrivals remain in the city shelters as of January, many of whom are families with children. How many of whom are families with children? How many of these are families with children? That's my question. The situation has only grown more unpredictable this week as the city began evicting the first wave of migrant families who'd reached their 60-day limit within the shelter system and requiring them to reapply for a new placement in an effort to urge new arrivals to find permanent housing. The Migrant Relocation Assistance Program has been billed as a way to help migrant families find more suitable long-term housing while also helping New York City manage the ongoing stream of arrivals. We can't be the only ones that has to be on demand and provide shelter and do everything with the mandates we have right now, Williams Isam said at a press briefing earlier this month. I think it would help a lot if there was a way for the state to expedite that, moving more people up who are eligible until they find housing. I understand that it's a challenge, but I think all of us have to be in this together. So there we go with the we all in it together. So where Carlton at? We all in it together, Carlton. We all in this together as Americans. Rules requiring households to have at least one adult who has applied for asylum, temporary protected status, or other immigration relief have also limited the number of eligible families, an investigation from New York Focus found. It's unclear at this point whether Governor Kathy Hochul will propose to renew funding for the program in her upcoming budget proposal. For advocates, the benefits of such a program are clear, as is the need for more similar programs that will connect migrant families to permanent housing. It's running up to become a very successful program, said New York Immigration Coalition President Murad Awadeh. The government is one of the slowest aspects of life. So for how quick this program got set up, I give it credit that it's actually working forward in an impactful and helpful way. All right, so there's that. So now my question for you guys is, what do y'all think about that? Shout out to John Guillory. What's good with it, bro? So what we about to look at next, we're going to look at what Eric Adams, let me see, hold on real quick. What we're going to look at now is we're going to look at Eric Adams' response to violence. All right. I'm curious as to what Eric Adams had to say about this. So let's check this out real quick. They don't really seem like they have an answer for this migrant shelter violence. It doesn't really seem like they plan on doing too much about this, does it?
Good afternoon. What can you tell us about the deadly incident occurred at Randall Island Saturday? And is this an indicator that maybe the city has to start thinking about metal detectors on the shelters?
Yeah, the team was already looking at, bringing metal detectors to the shelters, and that is a part of our goal, public safety. Commissioner Isco, you could probably go into the particular incident. Was that into the particular incident that happened at the location?
Yeah, I'm happy to, sir. So there was, the incident is still under investigation, but essentially there was an altercation in the chow line at the dining facility there that unfortunately led to one of the guests there being killed with a knife. The NYPD, I was there on the scene with them late into the night, along with another of other folks from the administration. They're doing their investigation. I don't know, Ted, if you have anything else you want to add to that, or if there's any other details that haven't been reported that you're looking for specifically from that incident.
Cameras, in addition to the metal detectors, the New York City Police Department and our team, we're going to utilize visual technology. We're going to put cameras in many of the sites and locations. And due to the quick response of the security team that's there and NYPD, we were able to make at least one apprehension.
Now, here goes my question. In listening to all of this, have you heard them mention any plan that they have to keep the residents of New York safe from migrant shelter violence? That's my question.
Persons in custody, and as Commissioner Isco stated, the still an investigation. But it's horrific, to have someone come here to pursue the American dream and see it turn into a nightmare, to lose a life. It's really unfortunate that we lost this young man, and we're going to continue.
Now, here goes my question, right? How do you pursue the American dream, quote unquote, come into the country illegally? That's my question. First and foremost, right? First and foremost, these people in these sanctuary cities are immune from crime. Sanctuary cities do not cooperate with law enforcement, so these people are shielded from crime. So here's my question. Have we ever had a situation here in the United States where we had a shield from crime? The opiate epidemic, Narcan, and all of the safe injection sites shields white people from crime. During the crack epidemic, did we have a shield from crime? Let me know.
To find those who are responsible,
Shout out to Robb from Denver. What's good with it, bro?
They come here to be part of this great American experience, and there's a numerical small number who would do something violent like that, and we're going to carry out the full extent of law enforcement to bring them to justice.
No, we're good. Mr. Mayor, happy Monday.
Thank you.
I just want to circle back on the deadly incident and also the stabbing that happened outside St. Bridget's School over the weekend as well.
Which one was that, stabbing?
There was a stabbing in line at St. Bridget's School, the reticketing center in the East Village. So the city's spending up to $25,000 per day at some shelter sites and leases on security. So at this point, how do these incidents even happen with spending such a high price tag on this? And are you reevaluating some of these contracts? And just a second question.
Now, again, how is Mayor Eric Adams planning on keeping the residents of New York City? How is he planning on keeping the residents of New York City safe from the overflow of violence at these migrant shelters? The migrants are already leaving from the shelters, right? They said this. They're leaving from Floyd Bennett Field, and they're going around to the adjacent cities and neighborhoods, knocking on people's doors, asking them for money and gifts. Make it make sense.
Circling back on the bus companies and Governor Murphy putting out his letter today, was this part of the political calculus to have this rolling executive orders like here, I guess, throughout the region as the bus drop? Because it seems like the lawsuit kind of hinges upon bad faith, right? So this gave them the option to choose to operate in bad faith, dropping off in Jersey. If you would have had a coordinated executive order in the whole region, that would not have been possible, and the lawsuits would have been possible.
The council could go into that. There's a lot of coordination that's going on, but the security, it's like I had a meeting this weekend with our entire team. Where
shout out to We Lit. We Lit says we've been getting way more. We just don't come out of it for the most part. How we've been getting way more what exactly? We're not even the group of people that gets the most government assistance. So we've been getting way more what? First of all, none of our ancestors came here illegally. We came here as the result of illegal processes. We got human trafficked, first and foremost. After the Emancipation Proclamation and after the Civil Rights, none of this kind of stuff was done. There's income barriers where most people who are middle class can't take advantage of this. So how are we getting anything out of this? Government assistance, how? The government jails housing us? You know what I'm saying? What government assistance? We're not the group of people that receives the most government assistance in the United States. And again, with this, we're dealing with people who illegally came into the country. The question that you should be asking is why they're not executing the law on these people. They're breaking the law. You know what I'm saying? We're in this bitch trying to live lawful lives and using our government to get policy, and they're bending the rules for these people. When have they bent the rules for us? These people got all kinds of organizations. They got the Democrats working for them. They do not need defense attorneys, bro. You know what I'm saying? And even if they have a defense attorney, nothing that they can say will hold up. You know what I'm saying? Name me one person that has done something, a black person that has done something illegal, and because of some type of protected status that we have, the law enforcement isn't compliant with reporting the crime. You know what I'm saying? When has that happened? Let me ask you this. How many undocumented people, you know what I'm saying? How many undocumented people have been released from jail because they got accused of wrongdoing? How many undocumented people got deleted by the police? And you talking about one person. You said we all know a girl. Man, it's like hundreds of thousands of these people coming in every day. It's not even a comparison. Like I said, bro, they don't need a defense attorney. They got organizations doing that for them. We need defense attorneys for our reparations and our shit that we need. A lot of these people get small business loans. Again, there's hundreds of thousands of these people, for one, breaking the law, coming to the United States, getting bus passes all over the place. How many people you know get a free airplane trip to somewhere where they want to relocate at? Are you serious? Name me somebody that you know that got a free 2 men in a truck. Come on, man. Why are you playing defense attorney for these motherfuckers? You better play defense attorney for yourself, bro. We need defense attorneys. These people here are fine. They got the mayor working for them. They got the governor working for them. They got the president of the United States working for them. They got hell of agencies working for them. Who's working for you? The fatherhood program is giving out so many bus passes that is causing the city to have to make 15% budget cuts. I'm not about to have a roundabout conversation with some shit that like we literally talk about every single day, bro. And we got a stream coming up at 4, so I'm about to try to hurry up and get through this. But like, come on, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like ain't nobody on that shit. You know what I'm saying? Literally, these people are getting the red carpet rolled out for them. When the fuck has anybody taken all of the kids out of the school to accommodate one of these hundreds of baby moms that you know? Shout out to DeAndre. What's good with it, bro? And you're talking about quote unquote baby moms. Out of all of these programs, how many millions of dollars have you gotten from these programs? I am a hater because everybody else hates on us. And the only way that you're going to be able to survive is if you get the nuts to start hating on people. When people stop hating on me, I'm going to stop hating on them. These are the very same people that stopped the black people in Oregon from getting their small business loans through the C-19 program. I'm not rolling out no red carpet for any of these motherfuckers. I don't understand. I don't get that shit, bro. And I never will. You know what I'm saying? How many of these undocumented people deal with redlining? How many of these undocumented people had freeway systems laid right through their houses that they built? These migrants do hate on us. They come from countries that celebrate the Confederacy. Are you serious? These migrants come from countries that welcomed Nazis there. In Mexico, they have a city called Matamoros, which means kill black people. Are you serious? Most of these migrants come from Spanish-speaking countries. Spain was the originator of the race-based caste system. Are you serious right now? And when it comes to these migrants, they're classified as white. Look at what they write on their job applications. Bro, are you for real? All right, bro. We got the power to hate. And the reason why we don't have any power is because we don't exert our power on people that we do have power to exert it on. And I'll tell you what, since you care so much, what I'm gonna do is me, TD, and we lit, or me, TD, and KO Kid Fit. We're gonna split reacts 3 ways, and we're gonna send yours to the charity for the migrants of your choice. How's that? How's that sound? It's not being a player hater, bro. These motherfuckers is doing illegal shit, and it's taking away from you. And there's always somebody, one of us, trying to jump in front of a bus for other people that'll just sit there and watch the bus run them over. People got to get better than that, bro. People got to do better than that. That's not a brave way to go. That's not taking the higher road. We got a big ass racial wealth gap, bro. Who gives a fuck about our racial wealth gap the way you give a fuck about these motherfuckers? Who cares about our racial wealth gap that we're born into that everybody says is our fault? Well, then my question for you is, if you actually care, like you say that you care, it seems to me that you care more about their racial wealth gap. Anytime they're talking about building businesses and shit like that, do you go into their streams and tell them we got a racial wealth gap? There's no way that one individual person can overcome the racial wealth gap, bro. You working your hand is not gonna overcome the racial wealth gap. If your family is still living in a system of white supremacy, it don't fucking matter. You didn't help. You know what I'm saying? You can be de-billionaired just like Kanye West got. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, charity is tax deductible. You know what I'm saying? In this tax season.
We're doing a complete analysis of the security, beefing up our training, better coordination. We put in place a few mobilization concepts so that we can shift manpower when it's needed. We broke down our locations into a color-coded scheme: red, green, yellow. Green being that everything is stabilized. Red is where we may have some issues, and yellow is sort of wavering. And Tim Pearson, Commissioner Isco, our police personnel, we're going to be having a coordinated meeting with all of the security personnel to bring them all together. We're putting signs at our location that's going to state this code of conduct. We're bringing clarity to the whole process. To answer your question directly, could something like this happen with the amount that we're using on security? Often we look at incidents that happen. We don't see the incidents that never happen. Something like this can happen anywhere. You have thousands of people who are placed in an environment, where you're just dealing with the stress of being placed in that environment. And that the security personnel that we have there, they have been doing an amazing job of ensuring that you're not seeing a high level of disturbance at the location. So this can happen anywhere. People who have violent tendencies will carry out a violent act. And the number of cases and incidents that we're properly able to resolve without being heavy-handed is really commendable. But we always want to do better.
We listen, it won't happen. I'm a boss. Listen, bro, there is no black bosses in a system of white supremacy. If you haven't found that out yet, I hope you don't find it out in a way where it affects you in a negative way. You know what I'm saying? It sounds good to tell yourself shit like that, to try to maintain sanity, but it's also important to work within a framework of reality. Bro, somebody don't have to fire you. You can get locked up. Somebody can just throw you in jail. A cop can just delete you. You know what I mean? Or if you get on the wrong person's bad side, if they got the right kind of connections, they can just zone you out of your business that you think that you're running, because you don't make any laws and you don't have any influence over those laws and how they're interpreted. You don't have any pull with the court system. You don't have pull with any business organization that sets regulations. None of that. Who fired Kanye West? You know what I mean? Who fired Kyrie Irving? You can be sued and the judge will look like the person suing you. Facts. And you might not be able to start a new one, bro. Your life might just get destroyed to the point where, like, you won't have a life anymore. All the vendors can just decide we're not gonna work with you. You know what I'm saying? But this is how I deal with stuff like this. Good luck. You know what I'm saying? And good luck with that thought process. And I wish you well, you know what I'm saying? But you already know who ain't trying to hear it if some shit happened. Hey, I ain't trying to hear it, bro. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to hear it. Better people than us have tried all of this shit. You know what I mean? I'm sure you have a business, you know what I'm saying, and you can do business, but your business is not an end all or a be all, and it's not more powerful than the social engineering that's in place, bro. Your business is more powerful than Kanye West's business relationships with Balenciaga, with Adidas. We talking about a dude that was a billionaire that got de-billionaired. And the reason why he got de-billionaired is because, right, you do got to keep working to get there. And playing defense attorney for people who have a natural disdain for you is not the most productive way to get there. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I don't even think that people really should even be dealing with quote unquote them Epstein folks like that. That's not the business. You know what I'm saying? At least in my opinion, I don't want to deal with them folks. That's who rappers deal with. That's who athletes deal with. And look at what happened with a lot of rappers and a lot of athletes. They always end up losing their money. They always end up going to jail. I can't say it no more, man. These people don't have less than you or your folk, bro. Them people got a goddamn country. What are you talking about? The fuck is you talking about, bro? Where is our country? These motherfuckers have a whole ass country with a GDP. Shout out to D-Side. What's good with it? And it's not hating. You're hating on yourself. That like this like do people realize that when they do this shit, they're hating on themselves? All these people that you talking about, bro, how many of them get into prison gangs and join up with the black prison gangs? You serious, bro? Look at these motherfuckers over in California. They taking over the whole California, beating the shit out of black people over there, running the Bloods and Crips out of their neighborhood. What the fuck is you talking about? They got less than you. They got a whole goddamn state in the United States. About to have another one. About to have Texas. About to have Illinois and all these other places. And on top of it, they have their own countries they can go back to. Not to mention when it comes to the criminal shit, they uncle, cousin is the plug. So they paying plug prices when it comes to street shit. Seriously? People that got less than you, bro. I don't know what kind of less you talking about. It is all migrants. It's all migrants and second, third, fourth generation people. Who's not a migrant? Everybody liked the movie Scarface. Where the fuck did his ass come from? He wasn't born in Iowa. You know what I'm saying? If people fought as hard as we lit is fighting for migrants, for reparations, we might actually have some. You know what I'm saying? Literally everybody will come out the woodwork to try to hop on our reparations claim and shit like that. Like, I don't get it, man. I don't understand that shit. You gotta please help me understand that mind state, bro. Help me understand that shit. Because I'm trying to get through this, but I just don't get it, bro. And we'll be on reacts later. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not trying to derail this shit. I got a bunch of shit that I want to go through, and I'm already like off topic with this dumbass shit playing defense attorney because you want to be Johnny Cochran for some motherfuckers that come to the country illegally and run our tax dollars up that you could be spending on something else. There is nothing that you're gonna say that's going to make sense in regards to this. And on top of it, you call this hating? This is hating. Bro, you got relatives that had people that come from these countries along with white people in the South spraying them up and down the street, beating them up to the point where people had to march with signs around them saying, "You're not I am a man." You know what I'm saying? Nobody fought for you. Nobody fought for your grandfather. Nobody fought for your parents. They fought for themselves. And all these people benefit off the backs of everything that they did and don't give a fuck and shit on motherfuckers daily. That's hating, bro. You know what I'm saying? Now, here go my question. What do you think is being done so bad to these people? What's being done that's so harmful for these people? And how is anybody hating on them people? You know what hate is? Hate is what the fuck our grandparents and parents went through. Nobody's segregating these people. Nobody's saying these people aren't allowed to use the same facilities as us. Nobody's saying that these people aren't human. Are you serious? Nobody's done any of that shit. When you got the same type of history as we got in this country and you're critical of policy that harms you and uplifts other people on some shit that you weren't able to take advantage of, I don't understand how somebody can consider that hating. How is this even hate though, bro? Like, explain how this is hate. We're talking about illegal migrants. You don't think that it's hating on you for them to come into the country illegally and take away from what you pay into as far as the government goes with the tax money? They didn't do anything wrong. Criticizing this shit is hating? Really? That's hating? I want you to do me a favor. I want you to go trespass and see how that shit works out for you. And then what I want you to do is whatever trouble you get from trespassing, reach out to some migrants and have them, you know what I'm saying, try to help you out and see how that shit go. Another thing I want you to do is I want you to tell me all of the slang that we have for migrants. And then I want you to recite in the migrants' language, you know what I'm saying, all of the anti-black slurs that they have built into their language. And then tell me who's hating. Tell me who has a history of making laws that restrict our upward mobility. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just wild, man. I just don't get it, man. I don't play defense attorney for other motherfuckers, bro. I don't do that shit. I play defense attorney for us.
Better. We want to produce a better product, and that's what we did over the weekend. We had a 2-day meeting over this, even prior to the stabbing, of really producing a better product, because public safety is a prerequisite to prosperity, no matter where you are.
Yeah, sure.
Man, what's crazy is that people don't even be getting this mad when they see somebody that's been unjustly held in prison for 40, 50 years. You know what I'm saying? That black dude, the elderly man that was like 65 years old that got arrested in Chicago because shot spotter miscalculated the bullet trajectory, and the dude was 65 years old, did a whole year. Who came out and played a defense attorney for him? Better play defense attorney for yourself, bro. And not play defense attorney for yourself because people are rightfully criticizing you about acting like we harming these migrants in some way by criticizing American policy. We're criticizing policy that American lawmakers made based on their own words. It's not a different story and a different topic. It's the same thing, and it's the same person, and it's you and your mind state. You know what I'm saying? Who came out to defend any of those people? Like, that shit is just wild to me, bro. Like, that shit is crazy. Acting like what shit don't happen, bro. We don't have migrant encampments all over Akron. The fuck is you talking about? Look, show somebody go look up a migrant encampment in Akron, Ohio right now. When you and we lit said he almost did a year for self-defense on camera. Did any migrants come out and say how wrong that shit was that you almost did a year in a castle doctrine state for defending yourself? Nope. Silver Spring. Where the fuck is Silver? I don't know where Silver Springs is. I don't know nothing about Silver Springs. Silver Springs, Akron, bro. The fuck is Silver Springs, Akron? And this shit is going on all over the United States. So because it's going on all over the place, people ain't supposed to talk about it. The fuck is you on? What is a negotiation encampment, bro? I don't know what the fuck that is. Is there migrants in the motherfucker or not? And that's facts. That's big facts. Crew Royalty said all the immigrants out there ain't do no BLM marches or anything. Facts. Carol, that's hilarious. She probably in here watching right now. She gonna pop up with a comment.
Sure. First, I would say in response to your question that it was not a surprise or a shock that the state of Texas started busing and having their buses drop off in Jersey or just outside New York City after the executive order went into place on December 12th, because that's a similar pattern to what the state of Texas did in Chicago after Chicago enacted an ordinance reasonably as a management tool for a humanitarian crisis. And then we've heard from the mayor of Chicago that the upshot was that Texas started busing to people in the middle of nowhere an hour or two outside and giving metro tickets. So there's a consistency. We hoped, is it really unreasonable in the middle of a humanitarian crisis to ask the cooperation and coordination of those who are transporting migrants to our city? But it does come back to extreme bad faith. This is not the relative who's driving someone to a home where someone can go in New York City. This is a political plan to target New York City and a few other cities. And it's in bad faith. And the bus companies have demonstrated their full participation in that bad faith plan, including by not cooperating with an executive order that's simply for notification to be a management tool. And instead
Now, here go the question. At the southern border, do they get notification when those migrant caravans show up? So they expect notification from these bus companies, but on the southern border, they don't get notification when these migrant caravans show up. That's why they don't care about notifying anybody.
Dropping in New York City on random streets in the dead of night. Now they're pulling up at New Jersey transit stations in the dead of night without any notification and dropping people and giving them tickets to get on the train and arrive at New York City Penn Station. The impact is here. The effect is here. And the bad faith we submit is clear. So what we're trying to do, this is a dynamic situation, but the mayor is fond of saying we pivot and move. And that's what we're going to continue to do.
All right, so there's that. All right, so now next what we got is we got a interview that Good Morning America did with Eric Adams. So we're gonna check out what Mayor Eric Adams is saying about the quote unquote influx of asylum seekers. You know what I'm saying? So real quick, also shout out to everybody that's in here. If you guys haven't smashed the like button, please take a moment, smash the like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, make sure you guys hit the bell and share the stream to your social media.
Southern border is having an impact all across our country, from policy debates on Capitol Hill to stretching the resources of a number of cities. One of them right here in New York, over 168,000 asylum seekers have come through this city's intake system since spring of last year, with over 69,000 currently in its care.
And joining us now is the mayor of the city of New York, Eric Adams. Mayor, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
Good to see you both.
So what is your biggest concern right now, and what's the biggest challenge for the city?
It's always big issues in a big city like New York. But when you look at the migrant and asylum seeker crisis, as the numbers were mentioned, almost 170,000, it is Albany, we're 1.5 the size of Albany was dropped in New York City. And none of them could work for the most part. We were successful in getting 25,000 through our asylum seekers and through our work authorization, TPS. But there's so much more that needs to be done on a national level. And that's a real crisis, both financially as well as space.
Let's talk about space issues. There's a 60-day limit in these shelters for these people who are coming here. There's been a lot of criticism of that limit and that it puts families in danger. What's your response to them?
Well, I think, criticism is probably equal to any type of athlete. You're in the bleachers, come clean on the field. I'm on the field. And I know that 50% of those who have come to the city, over 50%, we have been able to self-sustain. We first did single adults with a 30-day limit. 80% of those who reached that 30-day went on to be self-sustaining. 20% we put back through the system. Now we're doing children and families where we're giving them a 60-day. No child or family will sleep on the streets of the city of New York, unlike other municipalities. We have become a national model on how to handle this, but this is a national problem. The national government needs to resolve this, not New Yorkers. We have been humane, we've led from the front, but you don't want a child to have a permanent shelter residency. That is unacceptable, and we're not going to tolerate that.
And I'm sure you've heard by now, you were mentioned in last night's debate on the topic of immigration. Let's take a look at this.
This is putting harm on our schools, on our hospitals. Taxpayers are paying for it. You see, these mayors are now upset about it. The only reason Eric Adams is now upset, why? He shouldn't be a sanctuary city then. That's why we have to defund sanctuary cities. Now Governor Abbott finally did to them what's been happening to Texas for so long. We've got to put an end to this.
All right, Mayor.
What choice, bro? The choice to live in Louisiana? Be mad at the people who make those choices, not the recipients. So the fact that the Hurricane Katrina victims lived in Louisiana and were the victims of a natural disaster, that's their choice. Kanye, you know what I'm saying? Kanye, you know what I'm saying? A hurricane is a choice, you know what I'm saying?
What's your reaction?
Well, national leaders should have national knowledge of policies. This has nothing to do with sanctuary cities. Migrants and asylum seekers are paroled into the countries. They're here legally. And so when you have a national leader talking about sanctuary cities, the reason we're having this.
Hey, we're going to get you linked up with Fox News, bro. You know what I'm saying? They definitely got a job for you, bro. We're going to get you linked up with Fox News. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get you either linked up with Fox News or Newsmax, you know what I'm saying? Or see if Trump got a campaign manager job for you. You know what I'm saying? But they got you though. You know what I'm saying? They got you, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's niggas' faults that niggas got high blood pressure and diabetes and shit too. You know what I'm saying?
It's telling me she's not knowledgeable on the real topic. The problem is when you parole someone into a country, you should have a decompression strategy on a national level to spread it throughout the country and not target just certain cities. That's why you're seeing this real coalition of Chicago, Denver, Boston. All of these cities are now starting to realize that this is what Eric was saying, that this is not sustainable.
When you talk about not sustainable, it's also causing some real strain on the systems here in New York. There was a lot of backlash just this week about a high school in Brooklyn. There was a tent shelter. Those families, because of the weather, were moved into that high school. How are we going to continue to handle this? Because those parents were very angry.
Okay, and we need to be really clear about that, because there were people called in bomb threats, people who made some nasty remarks. That's not New York. Just because a numerical fringe group, 9, 10 people call in, we're 8.3 million New Yorkers. We've always used our school buildings during emergencies. During the fire in 2022, up in the Bronx, we move those residents in school. When you have flooding, major storms, we move them into school buildings. When you have buildings collapse, we use school buildings. We're not going to say in the city that when we have an emergency that impacts migrants, we're not going to use our school buildings, because no matter what people say, if you look closely, these are still children, and adults should not ever put anything that's going to endanger children. Not one child or family sleeps on the streets of the city of New York because of what my team has done. We did the right thing. And those parents.
Yeah, but so here go the thing. What about the people? What about the students that was displaced from the school though? Like when they have these conversations, they always only frame the conversation in terms of the migrants. They never frame the conversation in terms of how it affects the New Yorkers. You know what I'm saying? So make it make sense.
Parents who are stating that we can't inconvenience someone for one day because of other children, that's not acceptable, and I'm not going to put children in harm's way.
So what's the overall fix, the solution? And can the federal government do more?
Right. Oh, yes, they can. The overall fix is cities, El Paso, Brownsville, Chicago, New York. Cities should not be handling a national crisis of this magnitude. We're getting, in average, and just think of this number. There are weeks we get 4,000 migrants that come into our city. When you have anywhere from 2,500 to 4,000 coming in a week, and you have to find housing, food, shelter, clothing, educating the children, healthcare, that's not sustainable. It's a $12 billion hole. And
did you hear what he said? That's not sustainable.
2,500 to 4,000 coming in a week, and you have to find housing, food, shelter, clothing, educating the children, healthcare. That's not sustainable.
Now, here go my question for y'all. How many people gotta say that this situation is not sustainable for the federal government to actually do something about it? How many times does this have to be said? How many times does this have to be revealed? This is like that situation in Brighton Park. You know what I'm saying? It's like, how many times do people have to tell you that there's poisonous chemicals? You know what I mean? How many times do people got to tell you that there's poisonous chemicals before you actually believe that there's poisonous chemicals? Somebody make it make sense. Somebody make it make sense. And shout out to everybody that's watching, man. We 50 away from 500.
It's a $12 billion hole in the budget of our economy. It's going to impact low-income New Yorkers, and it's going to impact every service in the city. And I said it last year.
Now, here go my question. How is it going to impact low-income New Yorkers? Because this is the first time that it's been mentioned, right? Because we literally just a second ago asked this question. Well, when are they going to mention how this impacts New Yorkers? This is the first time that this has been mentioned. So for everybody that's watching right now, anybody that watches on the replay, what effect is this going to have on low-income New Yorkers?
Migrants that come into our city. When you have anywhere from 2,500 to 4,000 coming in a week, and you have to find housing, food, shelter, clothing, educating the children, healthcare, that's not sustainable. It's a $12 billion hole in the budget of our economy. It's going to impact low-income New Yorkers, and it's going to impact every service in the city. And I said it last year, we're going to start seeing the visualization of this crisis. We've done a great job, but we can't continue to sustain this.
And I do want to ask you, have you spoken directly with the governor of Texas, Governor Abbott?
We reached out and tried to coordinate with just the mean-spiritedness of this governor, who has his intentionality of just placing people on buses, compelling them to leave the city. That is why we're taking legal action. When you look at what he's doing, history is going to really reflect how much he has devastated the lives of people. Listen, this is a country of immigrants. The difference between what we did with Ukrainian citizens and other.
Now, how many people agree with that Joe Biden talking point, quote unquote? This is a country of immigrants. Is this a country of immigrants? If this is a country of immigrants, give me a thumbs up. If it's not, give me a thumbs down. This is a country of immigrants. That's the new Democratic talking point. So really, so this is a country of immigrants, and we're all the same. Now, it's crazy what's going on with Eric Adams, and he's still pushing these pro-Biden puppet talking points. I want people to pay attention to this, right? Like, Eric Adams is a lost cause. Like, homeboy is a lost cause. All of that, he's not really criticizing the Biden administration the way that he tries to make himself look like he's criticizing the Biden administration. Really, for real, he's basically saying, I'm tired of all this extra nonsense that I got to do, and I need my money to hurry up and make this work for the city. You know what I'm saying? He is not about closing the borders at all. All he wants is his money so that his job is easier. And real quick, shout out to everybody that's watching. We got 47 people watching and we got 58 likes. If everybody can bang on that like button and get us to 70, that'd be great.
The immigrants who have made their way here to this great country is we allow them to work. This is so anti-Americans that we're telling thousands of people, you must come to a country and you can't provide.
What's anti-American is shitting on actual American people. That's what's anti-American. Shout out to Pamela X. Would you guys agree? He's saying that not servicing the migrants is anti-American. What I'm saying is shitting on American people is anti-American. How is putting people who aren't American over people who are American, how is that all American? I don't understand how that works. That doesn't even, if that was a logical phrase, or if that was a symbolic math phrase, it would be fundamentally incorrect. It doesn't make any sense.
We're going to start seeing the visualization of this crisis. We've done a great job, but we can't continue to sustain this.
And I do want to ask you, have you spoken directly with the governor of Texas, Governor Abbott?
We reached out and tried to coordinate with just the mean-spiritedness of this governor, who has his intentionality of just placing people on buses, compelling them to leave the city. That is why we're taking legal action. When you look at what he's doing, history.
Hey, did y'all see how he didn't answer the question? He said they reached out, and then he just started saying, just describing Governor Abbott, but he didn't necessarily say what went down with the conversation or anything like that. You know what I'm saying?
Governor, who has his intentionality of just placing people on buses, compelling them to leave the city. That is why we're taking legal action. When you look at what he's doing, history is going to really reflect how much he has devastated the lives of people. Listen, this is a country of immigrants. The difference between what we did with Ukrainian citizens and other immigrants who have made their way here to this great country is we allow them to work. This is so anti-Americans that we're telling thousands of people, you must come to a country and you can't provide for your children and families. That is not how.
The United States has never had a problem allowing people to work. As a matter of fact, the United States forced some people to work for free. What are you talking about, dude? Working has never been the issue with the United States. Again, there's a whole segment of us who our ancestors were forced to work for free. You know what I'm saying? Now, here's my question. Who's ever babbled nonsense like this on our behalf? Who's ever babbled this kind of nonsense on our behalf and actually got something out of it? Who's done it? You know what I'm saying?
We are as a country. And that is what is at the heart of this issue. We've never been this way as a country. We should not be this way right now to this group of men and women who are here. If we parole them in, then we should give them the opportunity that every other immigrant has had. And that is the right to move into the greatness of this country.
Mayor Eric Adams, we appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
It's good to see you. Thank you.
Thank you.
We didn't have the right or the ability to move into the quote unquote greatness of this country. What is he talking about? Man, it's crazy how there's a whole segment of the United States who did not have this pseudo history that these people are talking about, and it's just okay. If we had that, people wouldn't still be talking about reparations. Like, make it make sense. So shout out to AB Promotions, because I was actually planning on talking about this anyway a couple days ago, but AB Promotions also dropped it in the Discord. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Crew Royalty. Crew Royalty says, I think I'm joining the dark side with you. Yo, that's what's up, man. Throw some radiation emojis in the chat and some flames for Crew Royalty for joining the dark side. That's the only side. You know what I'm saying? Migrants' pricey cars towed outside controversial New York shelter in the same area where they begged door to door. That's okay. Let me ask y'all this. How many black people got locked up for not filling out papers right on PPP loans? How many black people got locked up for not filling out PPP loans properly? Now, these people here, they didn't fill out anything at all. And they have to damn near stab somebody to death in order to get locked up. Like, I just don't understand how there's any kind of comparison. You know what I'm saying? So let's check this out real quick. And we gotta wait. We gotta wait for this advertisement. While we waiting for this, hit that like button if y'all haven't already. We almost to 500. Keep subscribing, keep sharing. Follow the Twitter.
What do you guys believe? Now a migrant is showing the officer that he has papers for the car. This is unbelievable.
And they're supposed to get hundreds of thousands. We lit. It's our tax money. Do you think that taxpayers shouldn't benefit from the tax that they put into the country, into the GDP? These people didn't pay tax. These people entered the country illegally. If somebody broke into your house and stole your shit and somebody else is playing defense attorney, oh, you talking about the scammers. Okay, all right, never mind. Let me shut the fuck up. I'm shutting the fuck up. He put the stop sign up there. Nigga, stop. All right, I stop.
Freaking believable. Unbelievable. The migrants now have cars here at Floyd Bennett Field.
Facts. I agree, Pamela. Pamela says, we foundationals take great offense in being called immigrants. We are the descendants of prisoners of war that built this country. Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't even know if you could even call it prisoners of war. It was literally just mass kidnapping and human trafficking. You know what I'm saying? Because they never fought a war. You know what I'm saying? They basically did some sweatshop kidnapping, human trafficking shit. And had motherfuckers falsely imprisoned. It was also that false imprisonment. You know what I'm saying? Now I get what you're saying, right? And I don't deny what you're saying. You feel me? But, you know, just think about that, man. We didn't ever, like, we wasn't at war with them. You know what I mean? Like, they just did that shit. It would be a different story if we actually were, you know what I mean? If there was actually a war that went down, right? But they were actually at war, you know what I mean, with their own people. They were at war with Great Britain. They were at war with the French. You know what I'm saying? They were at war with the royal families. They weren't even at war with us, and they did that shit. And honestly, I think people should actually like sit back and conceptualize that shit. They were actually at war. You remember the Redcoats and Paul Revere and all that shit, the Spanish-American War. They actually were at war. They were never at war with us. White people were never at war with us. They just felt the need, the desire, and felt like they were entitled to do the shit that they did, which is crazy, because if there was an actual war, you could somehow possibly rationalize some aspects of it, but there wasn't never a war. That's why anytime white people say we won, I always ask them, what did y'all win? In order for you to win some shit, there has to be a war. Are you saying that you've been fighting a silent war this entire time? Are you admitting that shit? What do you mean you won? Because according to them, it's either we either sold ourselves into slavery, right? Which don't have shit to do with the United States, other than the fact of the white people from the United States that bought it, because none of those places that were buying and selling slaves in Africa even exist anymore. You know what I'm saying? There's that issue. But we won what? They can't answer that question. They don't have no answer for that shit. What war were we at with you all? Oh, we just felt like doing that shit. Oh, okay, just say that then. Bet. Because then when we feel like just doing some shit, remember, we're just doing some shit because y'all just did some shit. You know what I'm saying? But think about that, though. Think about that. Even during the Civil War, right? The Union and the Confederacy, they ain't even make slaves or had no prisoners of war or none of that shit. So they felt entitled to do the shit that they did to us, and it wasn't even no war between us and them. So what does that show about what they feel that they're entitled to do to other people? That right there is what people should concentrate their efforts and resources on protecting themselves and future generations from. You know what I'm saying? Because honestly, that's one of the reasons why they're bringing all these people here to the United States to enforce those old laws, because the numbers are dwindling of them being able to do it themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Migrant has a car. He has a car. Look, he's showing the guy the title.
So yeah, there's that. All right. So now here it says these migrants appear to have better rides than some of the Brooklyn families they've been hitting up for cash, food, and clothes. Authorities on Friday night told at least 5 unregistered vehicles apparently being used by migrants that were illegally parked outside the city's controversial tent shelter at Floyd Bennett Field, according to Assemblywoman Jamie Williams. The wild scene, which Williams caught on video and shared on Facebook, included a white pickup truck with no plates being towed from a grassy lot that is a federal parkland, to the dismay of at least one migrant seen pleading to gain access to the vehicle. A minty Toyota Sienna with Florida dealership plates is also shown illegally parked along a fence near a row of electric bikes. Other vehicles in the lot included 2 Toyota Sequoias SUVs, according to Williams. This is insane. Williams fumed to the Post Saturday. Where did they get the money to buy these vehicles? This is bigger than all of us. I'm curious as to how they got the paperwork to buy the vehicles. Now, I'm not mad that they got a car. I'm not mad about that. I'm curious as to how they got the car and what they doing with it. You ain't got no documents. How'd you get a driver's license and a registration? Why is it that when I get pulled over for the police, I got to show my license and registration? You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, it's bizarre, added Williams, who represents Southeast Brooklyn neighborhoods, including Marine Park and Canaries. People have to wake up and realize what's happening. These are the same people who are knocking on the doors, begging for food and money, and they're also working illegally and stabbing people. Let's not forget about that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that lady in the video was a Karen for sure. She definitely is a Karen. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says historic Floyd Bennett Field has become a filthy eyesore since taking in migrants in November, said Williams, ripping the Biden administration for turning a blind eye to New York City's struggles dealing with its migrant crisis. Floyd Bennett Field, our national park, has become a dumping ground, she said. The vehicles were spotted by federal park police who had them towed. The NYPD's 63rd precinct also responded, said Williams. Messages left with the mayor's office were not returned, but NYPD said it had no report or file about vehicles being towed. So now my question for you guys is, why do you think that the New York Police Department didn't have any record of the vehicles being towed? Catsy said, I'd be a Karen if I saw that shit. Nah, I feel it. I feel it. And the cars was illegally parked. I mean, just that, again, what this shows a pattern of is that these people, not only do they not have respect for any laws, but they don't have respect for the laws where they're at. And on top of it, why would you have respect for the laws, though? Why would you have respect for the laws when you know, right? When you know that there's not going to be a consequence? Why would you have respect for the laws? Why would you care? You already know you're going to get away with it. You already know ain't nothing going to happen. You know what I mean? So if there's no consequence and there's a system that's protecting you, why would you care? That's one of the reasons why the crime is just going to continue to increase. There's literally zero consequence. There's none. No consequence whatsoever. So, ladies and gentlemen, players and pimps, y'all can thank We Lit for stretching this stream out to 2 hours and 18 minutes. Make sure y'all throw some flames and some radiation emoji in the chat and some pies and some tomatoes for We Lit for stretching this stream out. We Lit stretched this damn stream out like Sukihana. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to everybody for showing up. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Make sure y'all follow the Undocumented Twitter account. If y'all not part of the Discord, hit that link that's in the comment section. Shout out to my man We Lit. Y'all know that's my man right there. Y'all know I got love for him. You know what I'm saying? My man We Lit got love for me. You know what I'm saying? As my homeboy, we grew up together. I saw y'all saying y'all smelled Jollof. I can verify We Lit as a foundational Black American. I can verify that shit. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, We Lit was saying some shit that we wasn't agreeing with in the comment section. But I can verify you that homeboy is FBA. You know what I'm saying? I can definitely, you know what I'm saying? I will put my word on that shit. I know this cat. You know what I'm saying? I grew up with him. You know what I'm saying? I know his family. He know my family. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. You know what I'm saying? He gonna get that out the way. You know what I'm saying? And ladies and gentlemen, like I said, I appreciate each and every one of y'all. And as always,